Aubrey, the NAACP also a part of this fight for the people of Jackson. Can you explain what you're doing and why you see this as an essential civil rights issue?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much for having us. The NAACP obviously feels that what's happening in Jackson is a microcosm of what Black communities across the country and really across the world face, which means that there's disinvestment in resources in Black communities. And so when you have decades and decades of, for example, in a place like Jackson, the state of Mississippi deciding not to invest resources, not to allow for federal funding to actually flow into the city, you end up now with a situation where it's going to cost nearly $2 billion in order for the residents of Jackson to be able to have safe drinking water. And what's happening right now with the Department of Justice is really also a microcosm of what we've seen across the country when it relates to Black communities. There have been a number of different reports that demonstrate that Black communities have a higher likelihood of having Safe Drinking Water Act violations. And even though in this situation and in many situations, it ends up being the city that is penalized, that's really just a nature of how the statute is written. But we know that who is actually at fault is oftentimes the individuals who have the power to actually create that change. So in Jackson, for example, the state is the entity that's able to ensure that funding actually flows to the city. So the EPA, they will allot a certain amount of money to the state of Mississippi, and then the state of Mississippi gets to decide whether or not it wants to ensure that Jackson gets that money or another city gets that money. And over the years, that has not been the case, that Jackson has been prioritized. And so this is a great first step for the DOJ and for the EPA to be involved in this manner. And so we're going to continue to ensure that the voices of the residents are amplified. We still have our civil rights complaint that we have against the state of Mississippi, because we believe that the way that the state was funding cities across the state and not funding Jackson, that it did it in a discriminatory manner and did it in a way that ensured that Black residents were not going to be able to have the investment as it relates to water infrastructure funding that that the state had to provide.
Aubrey, I have 90 seconds left, so I'm going to throw, of course, a huge question at you to answer in 90 seconds, which is, what does justice and accountability then look like for the people of Jackson?
Yeah. What justice and accountability looks like is, number one, ensuring that the state, for example, is not left off the hook, because we wouldn't even be in this situation if the state had actually ensured that funding had actually flowed to the residents in Jackson, Mississippi. And what accountability really looks like is ensuring that there's not, a time where it really just kind of flows to the city, to the residents, to the mayor, to have to make all of these decisions without the resources in order to ensure that the residents actually get the water infrastructure that it needs. And so accountability means that we're ensuring that investment is flowing to the residents locally, and that the state is held accountable for creating this situation that the residents are actually dealing with right now.